ticket DJ. So expound more on what you do and you being a DJ and how you found your passion as being a DJ.
Right. Huh. Well, that's a lot. I think where I would start with was that I actually used to play jazz when I was in high school. I started out on the trumpet, and then over time I started playing the drums as well. And this was all self-taught, by the way. After that, though, funny story, there was a girl I liked in high school, and I really wanted to impress her. And I used to be really shy as well. So I figured, like, hey, I mean, one of the things I'm really good at is making music. People seem to enjoy it. And DJing is like making music, and it looks cool. So why don't I learn how to DJ?
Hmm.
And that's where it all really started. Even though I started out precisely because like I wanted to impress a girl, it became a lot more than that because I started realizing more of the like potential like the musicality that goes on behind it. And I really appreciated that. I appreciated that you could take all kinds of different sounds and different moods and change it and flip it in a way that you're presenting yourself without having to say anything.
Hmm.
So it doesn't sound like someone else anybody's moods like that. So from there, I don't know, I just kind of kept on going because I was so passionate about it. And this was when I was 13, by the way. So from there, I just kept working. Now I'm 20. Um, I'm very well established in DC, and I'm growing my name here in Atlanta, Georgia as well. So by the time I'm hopefully 25, I can branch out to like Los Angeles. And then once I'm there, and this is where like the whole expansion of my dreams goes, I want to be in a position where one, I can be DJing for the rest of my life if I wanted to. Two, where I'm actively giving back to my culture that gave birth to me in the first place. And three, to be in a position where I'm making enough money to where I can hopefully start my own nonprofit for the arts and for other like young black people, especially young black men who are into the scene but maybe don't know how to navigate it properly in regards, excuse me, in regards to things like personal branding or building your artistry or simple things like just expressing yourself as someone doing something in the creative circle in the USA. So that's where I want to go right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what you were saying, like to help people, to help the culture that helped you become who you are today, and that's really important to not only me, but to every
Yeah.
culture that's out there. Like when they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to do more than just serve themselves and make money and be successful. They want to help everyone out there that made them who they are and to
Yeah.
bring their brand out. So that's really important to what that's really important information about what you said right there. And
Right.
like, what plans do you have for your company in the future? Like, what do you plan for yourself? Do you plan to continue school, or do you think that you're good, that you're confident, and that you're hyper focused about your company to the point where you don't need school? So that's what I'm asking.
That's a good question. That is a very good question, especially in this field. Look, my mother is Caribbean. She is an immigrant. If I ever said I'm going to drop out of school, she would kill me before I even had a chance to start my career.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm
and
oh yeah, go ahead.
like you are the difference between an entrepreneur and a working class person is that when you become an entrepreneur, the difference between an entrepreneur and a working class person, it's like night and day.
No, definitely.
So, so like if you want to become an entrepreneur, everything is more about resources than there is to education. When you
Definitely.
want to be a working class individual, then education and skills is obviously the things that you need in order to better yourself so you can get those credentials, so you can get those credits. So when a company looks at you, they're like, oh wow, you're this and you're that. And
Definitely.
you're obviously trying to wow them with your skills. But as an entrepreneur, you're trying to wow other people with how you resource and how you can get more people and to get more connections and to network and all that stuff.
Right.
So with entrepreneur, it's like night and day. And I'm gonna expound on what I had on how I became an entrepreneur. My company is an online business. I am a general advertise consultant and I do copywriting. I advertise on social media. I do digital marketing and I also do affiliate marketing, which is to get more people, which is get more clients through your pipeline so you can get more clientele in. And it's just been a roller coaster. Like when I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a firefighter because when you look at those people, they're like, oh, wow, they're doing all these incredible things. So I want to do these incredible things too. But when I got older and older, I was deciding whether I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I wasn't really like, I was like, should I really be an entrepreneur? So my family just kept indoctrinating me like keep studying, man, keep doing your work. But as time progressed, I'm not really trying to do all of this stuff. I'm not trying to work. So
Right.
I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a self-made man. And it's crazy how my family, I grew up from an entrepreneurial family. My grandfather, he does interior design and he does house renovations. And my uncle, he owned over 20 barbershops and he owns some beauty salons as well. And he's very successful. He travels, he goes to basketball games, he goes to California, he has all these nice cars, he's buying his family nice cars, and I want to be able to do that as well. So it's funny how you grew up from how I grew up from an entrepreneurial family, but they still indoctrinate me on being a working class citizen. I just
Right.
get it. But yeah, and to keep expounding, like when I came to college, which I am currently still in college, I'm 19 years old, by the way. Um, I am a. At first, I wanted to be a architectural engineer, and at first, I was head over heels on being an architectural engineer. But the first semester, it was nice. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And then once you go through the second semester,
Everything changes.
everything changes. Like, what just happened? Everything was going good so far. Now everything went 180 degrees. And I'm like, I'm trying to do all this stuff and I'm trying to keep up with this. Now I'm trying to keep up with this stuff on the other hand and trying to do that. And it's like it's just too much stuff. And I was shopping with my uncle, who I mentioned earlier before, and he mentors me about real estate. He's way ahead of the game now. He doesn't even have to make money off of his personal skills like how me and you are trying to do. He's in the big leagues. He's doing real estate. So he coaches me on what to do, what not to do, what to invest, what not to invest on when it comes to investing in your money and what should you invest and what some of the things that you should look out for and what to avoid. So I was shopping and I was like, man, I really need some new clothes. And when like I really needed it was the second semester was a soul searching semester because I was like, should I really be an entrepreneur? So I was doing a lot of soul searching, and when I got done spending time with my uncle, I'm like, man, should I be an entrepreneur instead? And how do I become one? So I look back all the way at my notes, and like I remember Ty Lopez. Ty Lopez. I
Tyler.
don't really do. I don't focus on Ty Lopez like that. But I had some notes on him, and in 2020 vision, he was really talking about being a consultant, and I was like, wow, I'm really doing research on how to be a consultant. So I spent more and more time on affiliate marketing, some of the do's and don'ts, the programs that I use, and digital marketing and copywriting. And my current mentor for that is Dan Locke, who is a multimillionaire just off of being a copywriter alone. So there are a lot of things that really resonated with me and Dan Locke because his story is like literally identical to mine. And just because he's from a different ethnicity, when you grow up in the United States, everything changes. It's about what you know, who you know, and how can you apply their connections. So I've I've been doing a lot of soul searching. And I know I keep mentioning that, but it's really that's what I've been doing this entire time ever since I entered Morehouse. And ever since then, things have been going great. I've landed my first client, and things are going by great. And you've mentioned about you getting some clients in and you being noticed. So explain how you promote yourself and how you get clients in through your system. Well, not through your system, but through your personal skill as being a DJ.
Right. Hmm. So for myself, it's funny you mentioned soul searching because I was doing that a lot of the time for the first semester and second semester as well. I actually didn't start really DJing in college till like I want to say my second semester of freshman year, and it was because in the first semester I wanted to exclusively focus on school, my grades, and make sure that is okay before I do anything else too much.
Hmm.
But the whole time I was also going through a sort of like I don't want to say midlife crisis, but it was something like that. I'm feeling like, wow, I really enjoy this art, but can I actually make it something viable to where I keep on doing it as long as I intend to,
Hmm.
So ultimately, in the second semester, I just decided, well, you know what? I'm not going to figure that out unless I try.
Hmm.
And I can't try unless I have a system. So with getting clients, everything for DJing, the first semester, which was like 5 months, I must have done around 30 shows in the Atlanta University Center for free.
Hmm.
I branded myself as, hi, my name, I go by DJ No Tag. I had my friend design my personal logo, which is actually right
Yeah, show
around.
your stuff.
Let me find it real quick. Show it off. Personal logo and business card right here
Hmm. All
at
right,
Number One
guys.
Vibe Center.
That's his stuff. That's his no. That's his card.
Yes, sir. Hey, if you ever need to hire me, I'm right here.
Hmm.
um, I also started posting up all of my practice personal DJ mixes that I felt were the best and most presentable to a website called Mixcloud, which is kind of like SoundCloud but for DJs. Because SoundCloud kept taking down my mixes because of copyright, but that's besides the point. Um, I did that, and then what I had done with each of those mixes is that every single time I dropped the mix, I would go on to first send it to all of my friends, and then send it to people that I knew who were interested. And then every time I did that, I would ask them like, "Hey, let me know how it is. Let me have some feedback. If you really enjoy it, share it with your friends too." And then that started spreading that from there. And so by combining like the personal level of like just sending my products to people, to asking them to like review it, and then by myself, by literally putting myself out there again and again and again for free, mind you, which is kind of stressful. um, I just ended up building I slowly ended up building kind of a fan base and a client base that I personally didn't even realize was growing like that until maybe only a few weeks ago, where I was walking down the street in the AUC and I was with my girlfriend during homecoming, and someone shouted from window, "Hey, yo, DJ No Tag!" And
Hmm.
I was like, "Who said that?"
Yeah.
And then I'm at the point now where I'm also getting paid for all of my shows. And on top of that, I'm getting booked basically every weekend from like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. Depends on what's happening. And if I've gotten my schoolwork done. Because
That
again, school first. My parents are Caribbean.
that is very important what you said. Like you didn't go into the marketplace like bam, this is what I do. First off, you surveyed the market, you tested the
Right.
waters.
Right.
It's very, very important
Right.
uh,
Oh,
understanding what the market is. Now,
exactly. Exactly. And there's something I forgot to mention with that too. I've been spinning since I was 13, but with good DJing and maybe just like good business in general, one of the key things that I think we always have to keep in mind as entrepreneurs is the market that we're working with.
mhm.
I know some extremely like incredible DJs, people who can flip the most like mind blowing, ridiculous stuff, who are complete garbage in their markets. To be completely frank, and
Wow.
I say it like that because one of the main points of DJing is like knowing how to read your crowd. And a lot of them, even though they're so technically skilled and they've got maybe like a massive music library, they don't know how to read their crowd.
Mhm.
And so with the AUC, the other thing I was doing first semester while I was figuring out if I even wanted to like continue DJing was preparing myself by going to like every function, every party, every event that I could go to where there was someone spinning and there was music and stuff, and literally just sitting down with a notebook and just looking at everything. I looked at how people moved. I looked at how people interacted with each other when a certain song came on, or like when a certain kind of blending was going on. I looked at what the DJ was doing, how they were like flipping songs back and forth. I looked at the general event setup, like how was the lighting looking, or like how was the table space, how was the dance floor? Was it inviting? Was it not? This, that, these, and those in between. Or for party settings, I don't know, was that I hate saying it, was the alcohol good, right? Or like were there any problems at the door? Like literally taking every single piece of it out as much as I could. And even though I didn't realize it at the moment, even though people were asking me like, "Hey, the song, when are you gonna start DJing? This, that, these, and those," I would always just tell them, "Hey, wait on it, I'm coming soon," because I was literally breaking down the formula for the area. So when I started, even though like I was still, you could say, green to it, I already had the technical skill of DJing. Like that was no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because I had done that extra work looking at the actual market around me to see what people liked and didn't like, and then trying to take it and then put my own unique spin on it, just with my personal style of DJing, I think that's what really got my name out there, combined with all the other stuff we previously mentioned.
Yeah. So tip number one, because also I wanted to provide some tips and pointers for people that are considering being an entrepreneur and the risk that it takes to be an entrepreneur.
So much risk. Oh my god.
And the things that you need to understand being an entrepreneur. First tip is testing out the marketplace, understanding and knowing what their behaviors are, what they know, what they like, what they don't like, their behaviors, everything down to their feet. You have to
All the way.
understand everything that you need to know so that you can provide value for the marketplace.
Mhm.
It's all about providing value to as much value to the marketplace as possible.
Every single time.
And and tip number two, don't be so don't be so in love with your products and services, because what I see a lot of people in my marketplace, some of my competitors, is that they fall so in love with their services that it's like tunnel vision when it comes
Right.
to
Yeah.
marketing their services and tailoring their services for the marketplace. What I see a lot of my competitors on social media is that number one, they're not stating the problems of the marketplace first and foremost. They
Very true.
state who they are, what they do, and how just who they are and what they do. They don't provide
Right.
no value whatsoever. They're not trying to close, they're not trying to do anything. They're just say, "Hi, this is me, this is what I do." So that's what separates good entrepreneurs with marketing skills with just people who wants to just be ordinary entrepreneurs out there.
Right.
Three, you gotta have good marketing techniques. If you don't have good marketing techniques, then you're just gonna struggle. I don't care how good your services are. If your services are not good for the marketplace, you're going to be struggling for it until that marketplace moves and finds value for your products and services. It
Right.
could take a year, it could take 10 decades. I don't know. It could take a few years. It doesn't matter. So you have to tailor your product and services for the marketplace. So what so keep on talking about your company and what it does.
Hmm. So with my company in particular, working as a Working as a freelance professional DJ who caters to every possible event needed service. Um, Using the Atlanta University Center as an example again, one of the things that I noticed was that when it comes to parties and events and everything on campus life, first of all, there were only like really two groups who were throwing like all of the events on campus. So one, there was a monopoly. There is a monopoly, excuse me.
Mhm.
And then two, because of that monopoly, there were only really like three really well-known DJs. And the thing is, all those DJs spun the same music. There
Mhm.
was no differentiation, and that really bothered me personally as a really passionate DJ, because I think with this art, there's so much that you can do, and there's so much expression that you can have that to just play the same old stuff is not just boring but disrespectful. I
Right.
felt like I came and I literally felt like my art was being disrespected, and so I came into the market with the express mission of that I spin differently, I spin more innovatively, and I do this because I put in so much time and energy into it that I've come up with so much stuff that no one else has ever thought. It's just that simple. Um, I think I'm one of the first DJs on campus to ever spin electronic dance music at a party and have people enjoy it, which is very important. Um, I've thrown three events so far where each completely sold house, and what was it? And then I DJ'd and put together myself,
Mhm.
which also, and this is really important, especially in this day and age. Nobody was on their phone ever,
Mhm.
like from beginning to end, unless you were ordering an Uber to go home.
Mhm.
And I say this, I emphasize this particularly because when you're on a dance floor, if you're on your phone, that means you're not enjoying something about the party or you're not really feeling it, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna feel it, yeah, you know what I mean? Like if you're not feeling it, you're gonna leave soon. So like what's the point?
Yeah.
So
That is really me coming from a consumer standpoint, me going to parties, like I want to be dancing.
right,
Even if I don't know how to dance, I should be dancing.
right,
If you're not dancing, then number one, the DJ is not doing his job correctly. Two, is this not that fun? It's boring. It creates a boring environment.
right,
And I can testify to that. Like when I go around, people just looking at each other like, what should I do? Like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I socialize? Should I really connect with different people um,
right,
without dancing? Because when you go to a dance floor, if you're not dancing if you're not dancing, then you have to find other ways to connect with different people on the dance floor, which is not what we get, which is not what we go there to
what you
do.
came for,
We
right,
go there to dance and to do and to express ourselves, our emotions.
right,
I totally understand from a consumer's perspective. So, we're going to give it about 20 more minutes before we close out,
okay,
but I wanted to make this a educational based video as well. So tip number 4 is always just just don't be a if you want to be an entrepreneur, do not be selfish about who and let me clarify here. Like, don't have a fixed mindset. Like, if you think that the market if you feel that you understand the market and you have a great understanding, you know it all, you can't be taught on anything, then this is not going to work for you. Being an entrepreneur is not going to work for you,
Right.
because being an entrepreneur is all about having a progressive mindset, being
Right.
able to change rapidly or being able to change slowly.
You have to keep on innovating.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
to stay innovative and staying within the marketplace, the psychology of the marketplace, the anatomy of the marketplace. You have to stay connected with the marketplace. I cannot stress that enough. Your
Hmm.
product should be the marketplace for
Exactly. And you have to be aware that, like, if you're bringing something new to the market, just to add to that,
uh-huh.
um, there are other people who are going to compete with you, and because of that, that gives you even more like pressure to keep on innovating, keep on pushing. One of the things I like about this space is that it is very, very competitive. One of the things I don't like about the space is that it's very, very competitive. Um,
Hmm.
like I said again, just going back on an example, there was a dearth of there's kind of a monopoly on, like, you could say, party culture and event culture, to where it's only really two groups doing it and they're kind of doing the exact same things.
Hmm.
um and I felt like someone needs to kind of bust that apart. So the one thing I always noticed that people kept saying to me was that, hey, like, it'd be really cool if, I mean, these parties and stuff are cool and all, but there should be more, like, I don't know, kickback style events, or like house parties that are really good and stuff. It's like, you don't want to go to the club all the time.
Hmm.
I know I don't want to go to the club all the time. The club is kind of boring, at least for me.
Yeah.
So, um, oh well, a certain kind of club is really boring to me.
Hmm.
But yeah, no. So one thing I decided to change was the first party I ever threw. I called it a lit back. It was a kickback, but it still had the potential to become a party. And so, because I ended up setting it up that way, in competition with another party happening that same night, kind of scared everybody into not throwing any other alternative parties, which is, again, paying attention to your marketplace. Um, we strategically set it up to be the same day, and we advertised it as an alternative to that one if you didn't want to go to, like, a crazy, like, rager type party.
Hmm.
That party completely sold out, and we made all our money back plus $200 profit.
That's good.
Yeah.
And the last pointer, tip number 5, is profit is always important,
Hmm.
because your profit, it keeps the company afloat. You can pay off all the overhead fees. In case you don't know, overhead is the expenses that you have to pay for your company. So
Right.
all those expenses, you have to be able to pay them. Like, you can't just stare at the bills and be like, man, how do I pay this off? You have to
Right.
look at yourself, and you have to look down within yourself, say, how do I generate more cash flow through the company so that everything can stay afloat? That is one of the main priorities of being an entrepreneur with a company. It doesn't matter if you're online or have a physical, tangible company. It's all about paying off those overhead fees and paying off
Right.
all the fees that you have to pay so you can keep your company afloat. So it's really nice to talk with you. One more question, like, what do
Yeah.
you expect from the future? Like, what do you expect yourself? What targets? That's it. What targets are you trying to hit um, in the future with your company? Are you trying to be a millionaire off of being a DJ? Are you trying to be valuable? Like what are some of the things that you expect from being a DJ?
Hmm. With being a DJ, you always want to be in demand. So so well known and so skilled in a bunch of things that every time people mention your name, it's like, oh, it's that guy. Let's go get him every time.
Wow, that's a great.
And that's the point that I aspire to be at, where I can always just be the person that's like, oh, it's him? Yeah, no, he likes that. Go get that guy.
Hmm.
There's another DJ who's like that named DJ A-Track. He was probably one of the youngest to ever win the DMC DJ battle, and that pretty much started his entire career. And to this day, he's still well known as like a ridiculously like good DJ. Like holy shit, I've never seen a DJ so good of. Excuse my language. I've never seen a DJ that good in my life ever. Like to match that, but he always expanded his stuff, and he expanded beyond just simply like being an extremely skilled like turntablist, which is a kind of style of DJing,
Hmm.
into a producer of music, into a mixing engineer, into a record label owner, specifically for artists, into expanding that record label Fool's Gold into a fashion label, into making it such a significant part of the overall culture of music that he's pretty much solidified his place for the rest of his life.
Hmm.
And that is the level that I want to be at, to where I can walk around and it's like, yo, it's no tag. Oh yeah, and he does so and so with so and so, and he also owns this thing, and it keeps putting back on for the. That's the level I aspire to be at.
That's a very good answer.
Yeah, thank you.
So he's kind of like your mentor.
Yeah, you could say so, I guess. Yeah, I guess so.
Because there are different types of mentors. There can be dead mentors, mentors that pass away, but left a legacy for us to look at. And there are online mentors, like my mentor, he's an online mentor, and he connects with his clients through online databases and platforms. Hopefully, one day I could be a mentor, and the type of mentor I would be is physical and online mentor, where you can visit me in person and visit me through online. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm there and coaching you and teaching you the do's and don'ts. That's really important. So there are different types of mentors out there. It can be a passive mentor where you could aspire to passively. He doesn't have to be there, but you admire his work and you admire the things that he does. So,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, when you put it like that, then definitely.
yeah, okay. So, in number six, tips. These are valuable tips and pointers. Number six is you should always have a mentor to look up to. It doesn't matter if he's online or physical. If you can study what he does and what he do, if you can study the company. Let's say if you're a DJ and there's like a $1 million DJ that sells his services for X amount of money, and you aspire to make it to that level. You aspire to make it to that status. You just have to do a lot of research on that man and just look at what he does, how he moves, how he operates, how he handles business.
Hmm.
So one day you could really take your brand to the next level
Definitely.
off of somebody who is successful. So when you go, so that when you are successful one day, you can say that I've used a proven person's skill level, and tactics to make it to where I am today.
Right.
So when you decide to be a mentor as well, you can use a proven skill. You can use proven skills that you used to become an entrepreneur, a successful, self-made entrepreneur.
Definitely.
That so having a mentor is really, really critical in your entrepreneurial lifestyle. Because
Mhm.
when you become an entrepreneur, it's more about being an entrepreneur. It's about you have to change your lifestyle. Like
Definitely.
you have to change your lifestyle.
You have to look at the way you talk, the way you move, the way you interact with people, the friends that you've had in your circle, the way you work with your family. Everything changes. Everything changes.
You can't comment on videos on social media like how you used to. You have to stay.
No, you can't even do that.
You have to stay because you have. It's all about face value. When people, it's all about creating that first impression. If you have a good impression, then people will perceive you in a positive light. But if
Mhm.
you keep making all these negative impressions, then when people mention you or when people see you, they're going to have bad impressions on you because of
Yeah.
value. So I cannot comment on social media anymore, and that's one of the some of the cons of being an entrepreneur is that
Definitely.
to maintain that that status. And to maintain that status, you have to be careful and selective about what you say and how you say it.
And you also have to be aware of like how you have to be aware of how the things that you comment on or the things that you look at kind of what's the word? How they represent your brand as well. So
Yeah.
it's not to say that you can't, go on Twitter and like a post. Like it's not to say that you can't post memes every once in a while. You just have to be a lot more aware about how the things that you put out there and the things you end up either passively or vocally supporting end up feeding back on yourself.
Yes.
So yeah, I used to just an example, let you into my life. Like I used to look at I used to comment on a lot of like social media stuff and like Twitter and everything. Um, well, more YouTube than anything. I used to be on there very heavily, and it's like nowadays I tend to keep my like you could say your like internet footprint a little more low key than the past. One reason is because I literally just don't have as much time as before, because entrepreneurship can really take up like all of your time, but you won't even really feel it because you're working towards something that you personally believe in.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's like when I do have the free time, and maybe I will go social media surf and see what's happening with some of my friends, see what's going on with their lives. I have to be aware of like when I do and don't do these things, or it could sometimes negatively affect how I look, and
Right.
then that negatively affects my overall business.
All right.
So there's that too.
Right. Well, this is really good, important information, and I'm not going to hold you up any longer. I really appreciate talking to you and about your company and your brand. And it's they really a really good interview with you, um,
Thank you.
and about not just the tips, but how to be an entrepreneur, how to some of the things that you should do, some of the do's and don'ts. And you are a DJ, and you already have a good clientele, and I'm pretty sure you made good money as well. Again, there's his business card. So
Sure.
you have there are. ways of the game, you can't just go in here and be like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur and all that stuff. There are levels to this.
Yeah.
So it was,
Quote the legendary Meek Mill.
yes. Again, I'm Shamar. I'm the owner of SM Millennial Marketing and the founder of SM Millennial Marketing. And one day I will become very successful and be that man that everyone knows and understands. And when they mention my name holds a lot of weight.
Right.
So that's the future that I want for my company, but not for my company, my but for me as well.
For
And
personal legacy.
hmm,
For personal legacy. Yeah.
yes, and not just do personal legacy, but also being able to support other people on
Yeah.
needs. So let's say if there are homeless people out there, which there are, I want to be able to cater to them. I don't want to be all me, 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 me.
Right.
I want to be at the position where I could cater to different people out in the world. So people were in need, I would say, hey, here's what you need. You can go get it. Or if they need monetary funds, I'll be like, hey, okay, here's what you need. Here's X amount of money. You can spend this on yourself, treat yourself, do whatever you want to do with it. That's the type of stuff that I want to do. Create personal value so that I could add value to the market and to society in general. So, don't, entrepreneurship has sort of a negative connotation. Like when people think of being an entrepreneur, a successful one at that, it's like, oh, he's probably not having a good life, a good personal life. He's probably miserable. He's probably doing this, probably on drugs, and
Yeah.
it's just not. That's not.
It's not always like that.
It's not like that. So there
If
are.
you just take care of yourself and you manage your time properly and you manage your relationships properly, it's like I promise you things will work out.
Yes.
Things will work out. But you have to be aware of how you are managing those things. It is
Right.
so essential.
Right. And and with that, I would like to close on this interview. Thank you again, and introduce yourself again so that everyone um, can acknowledge you and notice and recognize who you are again.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you for like having me for this interview, Shamar. This was really there was a lot of really good wisdom and change here. And like I really hope people like look at this and just like I really hope each and every one of you look at this and take all the nuggets from it. So again, my name is Desan Murray Rawlings. Professionally, I go by DJ No Tag, the #1 vibe setter. And so far, I have won 2 DJ competitions. I have a residency at 2 clubs back in Washington, D.C., Tropicalia and, oh, excuse me, Tropicalia and Power. I also run my own, well, me and my group run my own radio show slash broadcast titled Radio Radio, currently under reconstruction. And last but not least, I am going to be competing in the Red Bull 3 Style 2019. So, yeah.
Right. And how can people find you? Like
Mm-hmm.
where do they find you on social media uh, or through search engine?
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's essential.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, anytime you see this logo on the flyer, anytime you see this logo on the flyer, you're going to be having a great time.
Mhm.
Second of all my information is listed right here. So you have my social media profiles, Instagram and Twitter. That's a DJ low tag underscore. You have my Mixcloud, which is like SoundCloud for DJs, like I said earlier, which is mixcloud.com/run underscore DMR.
Mm-hmm.
You also have my email listed here, DeshaunRawlings@gmail.com. And then last but not least, if you really need to reach out extremely quickly, we can talk on my phone, which is 202-615-4097. Yeah, that's how you
All
find me.
right, guys, y'all know where to get them.
Hey, y'all know what's up. And if you want a number one consultant, shoot, you know where to find him. Definitely.
Yes, well, I go by Mr. Wonderful. So if you, because I'm wonderful. So you can find me through Instagram. I prefer Instagram, LinkedIn, and through email. If you cannot contact me through Instagram, LinkedIn, and through email, then you can personally find me through my website, which is www.shamarmcmillan.com. Again, www.shamarmcmillan.com. And they're all lowercase. I do, again, digital marketing services. I do copywriting. And I do affiliate marketing as well. So, again, if you want more information on that, you can contact me, and you can search me on Google as well. I have Google information that you can search me up through search engine. So thanks again for joining me on this interview. Have a nice day. And again, this is promoted through SM Millennial Marketing. Have a nice day and take care, man.
All right, take care of yourself too, man. Y'all take care as well.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, talk to you later.